You pursue inner peace. You yearn for unwavering clarity in life's most trying decisions, yet you find yourself adrift in a sea of doubt, buffeted by the relentless storms of mental noise and conflicting counsel. This profound dissonance, this gnawing vacuum of existential certainty, is not merely a sign of confusion. It is, as Paramahansa Yogananda and the ancient wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita reveal, a desperate cry from your very soul, trapped within the labyrinthine illusions of the ego. The true solution is not found in more analysis or external validation, but in a spiritual surgery, a radical purification of consciousness that demands unparalleled self-mastery and unwavering devotion. You spend countless hours agonizing over crossroads, fearing the unseen consequences of every path, paralyzed by the weight of choice. You consult experts, seek advice from friends, dissect every conceivable outcome, yet the inner compass remains stubbornly veiled. This isn't a failure of intellect. It's a symptom of a deeper spiritual malady, an amnesia of the divine guidance that is your birthright. The modern world, with its cacophony of opinions and endless data streams, only amplifies this internal chaos, further obscuring the quiet, infallible voice of the Atman, your eternal self. It promises information but delivers only more fragmentation, leaving you more disconnected from your own inner knowing than ever before. You are taught to rely on external metrics of success and logical frameworks, yet these very tools become the shackles that bind your soul to cycles of anxiety and regret. You try to force clarity through sheer mental will, pushing harder against an invisible barrier, only to find yourself more exhausted, more uncertain. This incessant mental struggle is the ego's cunning strategy, a diversionary tactic designed to keep you from recognizing the boundless wisdom already residing within your sacred core. Imagine, for a moment, the immense energy you expend daily on this internal debate, this ceaseless wrestling with possibilities. This energy, meant for creative expression, for deep connection, for the unfolding of your divine purpose, is instead siphoned off, feeding the very doubt it seeks to quell. It's an insidious drain, leaving you depleted, uninspired, and perpetually on the precipice of a decision you dread making. The world tells you to think positive, to visualize success. But how can you visualize anything with a mind clouded by fear and an ego clinging to control? This isn't about manifesting a desired outcome through sheer force of will. It's about aligning your will with the cosmic current, becoming a channel for the divine, allowing the perfect path to reveal itself effortlessly. Yogananda often spoke of the importance of attunement, of creating a receptive inner environment where divine vibrations could penetrate and illuminate. Your current state of indecision is, in essence, a lack of this attunement, a spiritual static that blocks the broadcasting of infinite wisdom. The Bhagavad Gita, through the timeless dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, illustrates this profound dilemma. Arjuna, facing an unimaginable moral crisis on the battlefield, is paralyzed not by a lack of options, but by the overwhelming weight of attachment, egoic duty, and the fear of consequences. His mind, much like yours, becomes a battlefield of conflicting emotions and intellectual arguments, obscuring his true dharma. Krishna does not offer a simple yes or no answer, but a path to transcendental wisdom, guiding Arjuna to act from a higher plane of consciousness, free from the bonds of karma and personal desire. He teaches that true clarity emerges not from dissecting the external world, but from purifying the internal landscape, from recognizing the eternal self, and surrendering to the divine will. This surrender is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of courage, an acknowledgement that finite human reason alone cannot fathom the infinite tapestry of cosmic design. So, when you find yourself caught in the unforgiving grip of indecision, understand that it is not a flaw, but a summons. It is your soul's urgent call to cease the futile battle of the ego and turn inwards to seek the clarity that transcends mere logic. This isn't about finding the right answer in the conventional sense, but about cultivating a state of being where the right action, aligned with your highest dharma, unfolds spontaneously, guided by an infallible inner wisdom. It's about transforming the mind from a source of torment into a pristine mirror, reflecting the boundless light of the divine. The prayer we will discuss today is not a wish list. It is a sacred technology, a spiritual key to unlock the divine guidance that already resides within your core, waiting patiently to be heard. It is a potent force designed to cut through the mental fog, dismantle the ego's resistance, and reveal the path illuminated by the eternal. Are you ready to abandon the futile search for answers in the outer world and embark on this inward journey to uncover the source of all profound clarity? Comment clarity below. If you have ever felt this overwhelming paralysis of choice, this silent scream from your soul for true divine guidance, let your testimony be a beacon for others who walk this path. The agony of mental paralysis, this profound inability to choose, is not an isolated incident of modern stress. It is, in truth, an echo of ancient spiritual conditioning, a karmic pattern woven deeply into the tapestry of your soul. What you perceive as mere indecision in this lifetime is often a flashback narrative of the soul, a replaying of crucial moments from a past that your conscious mind has long forgotten, or a subtle consequence of a decision, a vow, or a trauma from an ancestral lineage that still reverberates through your energetic field. You believe you are simply overwhelmed by options, but your soul knows this. Struggle as the continuation of a much grander, more intricate drama. Consider the very nature of mental fog that shrouds your crucial choices. This isn't just a lack of focus, it's a manifestation of the veil of Maya, the cosmic illusion that obscures the ultimate reality and your inherent connection to divine wisdom. In previous existences, perhaps your soul, driven by egoic desire or profound fear, made a vow to always rely on external validation, or a decision to suppress its intuitive, knowing to conform to societal or familial expectations. Or perhaps a significant trauma, a betrayal of trust when your inner voice was ignored, led to a deep-seated fear of self-reliance, programming the subconscious to default to confusion rather than risk another painful outcome. These subtle vows and decisions, long buried in the Akashic records of your being, continued to dictate your present-day responses, creating a spiritual inertia that makes decisive action feel impossible. The inimigo comum here is not just the external chaos, but the deep-seated fear of sovereign choice, rooted in these forgotten chapters. Yogananda, drawing from the profound wisdom of the Vedas, elucidated the intricate workings of karma, the law of cause and effect that extends across lifetimes. Your current struggle with indecision born of egoic fear is not a random affliction, but a meticulously crafted consequence, a lesson designed by the divine to prompt a deeper reckoning. If, in a past life, your actions were driven by intense attachment to outcomes, or if you consistently evaded responsibility by allowing others to choose for you, the karmic imprint would manifest now as this agonizing paralysis. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, presents you with similar scenarios, not to punish but to provide an opportunity to transcend the old patterns, to consciously choose a new path of dharma, right action, aligned with cosmic purpose. This present challenge, therefore, is not a curse, but a sacred crucible, an invitation to purify the mind and break free from the invisible chains of past conditioning. The Bhagavad Gita further illuminates this. Krishna advises Arjuna on the importance of karma yoga, action performed without attachment to its fruits. The anxiety you feel surrounding your decisions stems precisely from this attachment, the fear of making the wrong choice, the desire for a guaranteed good outcome, the identification of your self-worth with the perceived success or failure of your decisions. This fear, this attachment, is the very mental static that prevents the divine signal from reaching you. Your soul, an eternal fragment of the divine, inherently knows its path. but the incessant clamor of the ego, with its memories of past failures, its projections of future disasters, its endless self-preservation mechanisms, creates a thick veil of Maya, deafening you to that inner wisdom. The struggle isn't with the decision itself, but with the ego's desperate grip on control, its refusal to surrender to a higher intelligence. What if your current state of mental turmoil is not a sign of weakness, but the precise pressure point the divine is using to force a monumental shift in your consciousness? What if this acute anxiety of indecision is the karmic lever designed to unearth those deeply buried vows of intellectual self-sufficiency, those ancient agreements to distrust the wisdom of the heart? The weight of choice you feel isn't just the present, it's the accumulated density of countless past choices made from a place of ego, fear, or attachment, now demanding resolution. To genuinely purify the mind and attract clarity, you must first acknowledge these deeper currents. You are not a victim of circumstance, but an architect of your own experience, now presented with the opportunity to redraw the blueprints of your spiritual destiny. Understanding the karmic roots of your paralysis of choice is the crucial first step. It is the moment you stop blaming external factors or your own perceived inadequacy, and instead recognize the sacred lesson embedded within your suffering. This recognition transforms passive bewilderment into active inquiry, changing the question from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is my soul learning through this?" But merely understanding the origin is just the map of the battlefield. The real struggle is not against external forces, but against the insidious, comfortable, and deeply ingrained mechanisms of egoic defense within you that resist this truth. These defenses, born of ancient fears and perfected over lifetimes, are precisely what will attempt to sabotage your journey towards divine clarity. Are you prepared to face these internal saboteurs and confront the very aspects of yourself that cling to the illusion of control, even at the cost of your true freedom? The journey toward divine clarity and decision-making is not a gentle stroll through a tranquil garden. It is a profound internal war against the inimigo comum, the tumultuous ego-driven mind that thrives on confusion and resists surrender. This isn't merely a spiritual exercise. It is an escalating battle, a spiral of tension where each internal resistance tested, each illusion confronted, demands a higher degree of courage and discipline. The path to unwavering insight is a refining fire, and every challenge you face along the way is designed to burn away the dross of ego, revealing the pure gold of your eternal Atman. The external battle, the cacophony of conflicting voices. You begin by seeking answers in the external world, consulting countless opinions, drowning in a torrent of advice. Your friends, family, colleagues, and even random internet algorithms offer their perspectives, each confidently asserting their own brand of truth. This external battle manifests as the overwhelming noise that assaults your senses, promising solutions, but delivering only deeper confusion. The mental fog intensifies as you try to reconcile contradictory viewpoints, each tugging you in a different direction. This is the ego's first line of defense, to keep you outwardly focused, trapped in the illusion that the solution lies out there. You frantically gather more information, hoping that one more data point will magically unlock the answer. But instead, you find yourself more fragmented, more disoriented. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, qualities of nature that influence our actions and perceptions. When you are lost in external seeking, you are often swayed by the rajasic energy of relentless activity and tamasic inertia of doubt, preventing the sattvic clarity from emerging. You are caught in the external drama, mistaking the stage for the true inner play. But what happens when the external voices begin to contradict not just each other, but the faint whispers of your own intuition, forcing you into an uncomfortable choice between outer validation and an elusive inner truth? The internal battle, the siege of doubt and fear. As the external solutions prove futile, the battle shifts inward. Now, the inimigo comum intensifies its assault through doubt, fear, and the ego's tenacious grip on control. Your past mistakes resurface as haunting specters, whispering, "What if you choose wrong again?" The fear of regret, of failure, of judgment, both from others and from your own inner critic, becomes an almost unbearable weight. This is where the paralysis of choice truly takes hold, as your own mind, supposedly your greatest ally, transforms into your most formidable adversary. Every potential path is scrutinized, not for its inherent rightness, but for its perceived safety, its lack of potential for pain. This is the dor oculta abordada, manifesting as intense internal pressure. Yogananda emphasized that the mind can be either your friend or your foe, depending on whether it is controlled by the ego or aligned with the soul. Here, the ego fights tooth and nail, projecting worst-case scenarios, clinging to familiar patterns of inaction, anything to avoid the discomfort of true surrender to the unknown. You are now locked in a struggle against the very mechanism that is designed to protect you, but which, in its fear, prevents your spiritual evolution. How will you identify the subtle sabotage of your own mind, the cunning ways it whispers half-truths to keep you from the precipice of true freedom, the paradox of surrender, the moment of choice? The peak of tension arrives when you realize that no amount of external data or internal strategizing will bring the clarity you seek. You are exhausted, utterly depleted by the relentless internal conflict. This is the moment of truth, the gatillo emotional primario of desperation that precedes a true spiritual breakthrough. Here, the inimigo comum offers its most seductive illusion, the idea that if you just try harder, think deeper, analyze more thoroughly, you will finally grasp the answer. But the real path lies in the opposite direction, in surrender. This is the profound paradox that Krishna reveals to Arjuna. Liberation comes not from asserting personal will, but from aligning with divine will, from acting without attachment to the fruits of action. It's about letting go of the ego's need to control the outcome and trusting in a higher intelligence. This is not passive resignation, but an active, conscious choice to release the reins of fear and ego, opening yourself entirely to the wisdom of the divine. It's a terrifying leap of faith, a moment where your deepest fears confront your highest aspirations. The peace you crave, the unwavering clarity, lies just beyond this threshold of surrender. But the ego, ever vigilant, will conjure its most terrifying illusions to prevent you from taking that leap. It will threaten your identity, your perceived control, your very sanity. It will whisper that surrendering is a sign of weakness, an abdication of responsibility. Yet Yogananda taught that true strength comes from connecting with the infinite power of God, not from relying on the limited power of the individual ego. The battle within is fierce, for it is a battle for the very sovereignty of your soul. Will you succumb to the ego's final, desperate attempt to maintain control? Or will you embrace the terrifying, liberating truth that only in surrender can true divine guidance finally pierce through the veil of Maya? The silence that follows this surrender is not an absence, but a presence, a profound stillness pregnant with the wisdom of the eternal. But what does this surrender truly entail? And how can you achieve it in the very core of your being, when every fiber of your conditioned existence screams against it? This is the climax, the sacred ceremony of death and rebirth, where the old identity, entangled in indecision born of egoic fear, is annihilated to give way to an expanded, liberated consciousness. This isn't merely an intellectual shift. It is the alchemia final, a visceral, profound experience of the non-duality of self and spirit, where the lead of your suffering transmutes into the pure gold of divine clarity. It is in this crucible of surrender that the true power of prayer is not just understood, but lived. The moment arrives not through force, but through exhaustion, the incessant internal war. The siege of doubt and fear finally reaches a point of absolute depletion. You have tried every logical avenue, every mental permutation, every external consultation, and all have failed. There is no more energy left to fight, no more will to control. It is in this profound emptiness, this utter surrender of the ego's relentless grip, that a space is suddenly, shockingly, created within you. The frantic chatter of the mind, which once echoed like a marketplace, begins to quiet, not by your effort, but by the sheer unyielding force of your surrender. Suddenly a shift occurs. It is not something you do, it is something that happens in you. The perceived boundary between the you who is trying to decide and the divine source of all wisdom begins to dissolve. This is the essence of Bhakti Yoga, devotion, as taught by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita and emphasized by Yogananda. The heart's pure longing and surrender become the conduit for infinite grace. Your prayer, which before might have been a desperate plea for an outcome, transforms into a profound invocation of alignment, a silent, heartfelt offering of your will to the cosmic will. You are no longer asking for an answer. You are becoming the answer, allowing the divine intelligence to flow through you, purifying your mind from within. As this happens, the mental fog begins to lift, not gradually, but like a curtain being drawn back. The oppressive weight of paralysis of choice dissipates, revealing a profound sense of lightness. It is as if the cosmic light, previously filtered through layers of egoic conditioning, now shines directly into the chambers of your heart and mind. In this pristine clarity, you don't receive a dictated instruction. Rather, you perceive the inherent rightness of a particular path. It's not a logical deduction, but an undeniable resonance, an inner knowing that transcends all rationale. The right decision doesn't appear as a choice to be made, but as a path to be walked, a truth to be embodied. This is the peak of emotion, a mixture of awe, relief, and an unshakable peace. The inimigo, comum, the ego-driven mind, is not destroyed, but it is transmuted. It no longer dictates, but serves as a clear vessel for divine guidance. The fear of consequence vanishes, replaced by an amor fati, a deep love of destiny, a profound trust that whatever unfolds is part of a perfect, divine plan, orchestrated by an intelligence far vaster than your individual understanding. The Aoyao, specific prayer you have been seeking, the invocation of dharmic clarity, is not a set of words to be recited mechanically, but a state of consciousness to be entered. It is the silent, fervent communion of your soul with the eternal, a merging of individual will with the cosmic will. In that sacred instant, the answer to the cliffhanger from the introduction reveals itself. The solution that demands self-mastery and discipline is not about forcing clarity, but about the profound discipline of surrender. It is the discipline of releasing the ego's need for control, the self-mastery to quiet the mental chatter, and the courage to trust the wisdom that emerges from the depths of your own Atman. This clarity is not fleeting. It is a fundamental shift in your perception, a new way of experiencing reality where every choice becomes an act of dharma, a sacred offering to the divine. This inner purification, this attracting of unwavering clarity, is the birthright of every soul. It demands not just intellectual understanding but profound bhakti, a deep, unconditional love and devotion to the source of all wisdom. It is the courage to face the ultimate contradiction, that to find your greatest strength, you must first surrender completely. This isn't just about making one decision. It's about fundamentally altering your relationship with every decision, turning life into an unbroken stream of divine connection. But let me ask you, in the deepest chambers of your heart, are you truly willing to relinquish the illusion of control, the comfort of predictable struggle for the terrifying freedom of divine spontaneity? Are you prepared to face the discomfort of absolute surrender, even when every fiber of your being cries out for familiar patterns of resistance? Comment, surrender. Now, if you are ready to abandon the old battle and embrace this new path, letting your soul be a beacon for clarity. Having journeyed through the crucible of surrender, witnessed the death of egoic control, and experienced the alchemia final of consciousness, you now stand on the threshold of the new normal. The mystic experience of divine clarity, once an elusive promise, has now materialized into tangible shifts in your daily existence. How does one live when the heavens have touched the earth within? The answer lies in the serene testimony of a liberated soul, one who has exchanged the mental fog of indecision for the luminous guidance of the divine. The incessant internal debate that plagued your every significant choice, the paralysis of choice that left you exhausted and anxious, is no longer a dominant force. In its place, a profound sense of inner quietude has settled. This isn't an absence of thought, but a mastery over its tumultuous waves. The mind, once a chaotic marketplace, has become a tranquil lake, its surface reflecting the unblemished light of the eternal. You still engage in rational thought. You still analyze and consider, but these processes are now infused with an underlying stillness, a foundation of unshakable peace. The ego's frantic need to control every outcome has given way to a profound trust in divine will. You find that decisions, especially the difficult ones that once triggered immense anxiety, now unfold with a surprising grace. The agonizing struggle to weigh pros and cons for endless hours diminishes, replaced by a clear, resonant knowing. It's not that the answers are magically whispered into your ear. Rather, you perceive the inherent rightness of a particular path. This perception is not intellectual. It's a deep, gut-level affirmation, a quiet yes from your innermost being that transcends logical argument. This is the tangible manifestation of the purified mind, a mind attuned to the subtle vibrations of Dharma, your soul's true purpose. As Yogananda taught, when the mind is tranquil, it becomes a perfect receiver for cosmic consciousness. The dingo, dorokulta abordada, the deep-seated anxiety and exhaustion from constantly second-guessing yourself, is transmuted into an unwavering clarity that flows effortlessly. You walk through life with a newfound sense of purpose, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the source from which all answers emanate. The fear of making the wrong choice, which once led to stagnation and regret, dissipates. You understand that there is no wrong choice when your actions are aligned with your higher dharma and offered in devotion. Each action becomes karma yoga, a selfless offering, freeing you from the binding reactions of attachment to results. This transformation also manifests in your interactions with the external world. The cacophony of conflicting voices that once intensified your confusion, as discussed in Topico 2, now holds less sway. You listen, you acknowledge, but your inner compass remains unswayed by external pressures. You discern advice not by its volume, but by its resonance with your inner truth. The need for external validation, a hallmark of the ego's insecurity, recedes, replaced by the profound security of divine connection. Your relationships deepen because you are no longer projecting your internal turmoil onto others. You offer clarity and peace, not anxiety and indecision. Even life's inevitable challenges and setbacks are met with a serene equanimity. You understand that these are merely opportunities for further growth, divinely orchestrated lessons rather than personal failures. The veil of Maya, though still present, no longer has the power to obscure your inner light. You see through its ephemeral nature, anchoring yourself in the changeless reality of the Atman. This unwavering clarity is not a destination, but a state of being, a continuous spiritual practice. It is living from the space of profound surrender, where the small I of the ego bows to the great I of the cosmic consciousness. The prayer that purifies your mind and attracts clarity is not a single utterance, but a living, breathing connection, a perpetual attunement to the eternal. You become, in essence, a living prayer, a conduit for divine wisdom to manifest in the world through your choices, your actions, and your very presence. This is the profound peace that comes from knowing you are always guided, always protected, always aligned with the highest good, transforming the mundane into the sacred, one clear decision at a time. This is not mere well-being, it is spiritual sovereignty. But what if I told you that this newfound unwavering clarity, this profound liberation from the paralysis of choice, was not merely for your individual peace? What if this personal spiritual sovereignty, achieved through the purification of your mind and the attunement to divine guidance, was just the prelude to a far grander, more critical mission? You have broken free from the siege of doubt and fear. You have pierced through the mental fog of Maya. You have discovered the silent, infallible voice of the divine within. This journey, however arduous, has prepared you, not just to navigate your own destiny, but to become a beacon for a world still lost in its own collective confusion. The inimigo comum, the pervasive veil of Maya, the ego's chaotic grip, does not afflict only individuals. It holds humanity itself in a state of chronic indecision born of egoic fear, leading to conflict, suffering, and existential drift on a global scale. The profound peace you have cultivated, the unwavering clarity you embody, is a frequency the world desperately needs to hear. Your awakened consciousness is not meant to be a private sanctuary, but a radiating lighthouse guiding others through their own personal storms of doubt. Paramahansa Yogananda envisioned a world of self-realized souls, each living in harmony with their dharma, each a channel for divine will. The Bhagavad Gita, in essence, is a call to righteous action, to fulfill one's spiritual duty not in isolation, but in the service of a greater cosmic order. Krishna's teachings to Arjuna were not just for one warrior, they were for all of humanity, teaching that true liberation leads to engaged, selfless action for the upliftment of all. The journey of individual awakening is essential, but it culminates in a universal responsibility. Your purified mind, capable of attracting unwavering clarity for difficult decisions, now possesses the potential to influence the collective consciousness, to subtly shift the energetic landscape of humanity. Every clear dharmic choice you make, every act of karma yoga performed without attachment, ripples outwards, inspiring others, creating pathways for deeper divine connection across the globe. But the question remains, profound and challenging. Now that you have found your own inner compass, now that the eternal whispers truths through your purified mind, are you willing to accept the next phase of this infinite journey? Are you ready to move beyond personal liberation and embrace your role as a conscious participant in the collective awakening, risking the peace of your private sanctuary to shine a light into the chaos of the world? You have heard the voice of inevitable awakening. You have walked through the mental fog of indecision, confronted the inimigo comum of egoic fear, and tasted the unwavering clarity that flows from a mind purified by divine connection. You are no longer a seeker, you are a channel. The transformation you have experienced, the profound shift from paralysis of choice to dharmic action, is not a fluke. It is a testament to the timeless wisdom of Paramahansa Yogananda and the eternal teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, guiding you to recognize the Atman within as the ultimate source of all truth. You have awakened to your spiritual sovereignty, to the power of a life lived in alignment with cosmic will. Now, if you truly resonate with this profound truth, if the echoes of this awakening stir your soul, then know that your journey is not meant to be traveled alone. This path of divine guidance and unwavering clarity is a sacred inheritance meant to be shared, amplified, and lived in collective conscious action. Join our community of awakened souls. Subscribe to this channel, activate the notification bell, and continue to delve deeper into these universal truths. We are building a sanctuary where minds are purified, where souls are awakened, and where the collective vibration of divine connection is continuously strengthened. Your participation is not just a subscription, it is an affirmation of your commitment to your highest dharma, a declaration that you choose clarity over confusion, light over shadow, and eternal wisdom over fleeting fear. Your journey inward has prepared you for this outward mission. Embrace it. The world awaits your awakened choices.